Okay, y'all, today we are going to talk lead generation and the very first things that I would do that I want you to do if you're going to start generating leads using SEO strategies and blogging. Two things that you need to do to start generating leads using SEO strategies and blogging. Ready? Let's dive on in. Hey there, fellow entrepreneur. Welcome to Simple SEO and Marketing with me, Faith Hannon. Do you want to grow your business with organic marketing and finally feel like you can understand SEO? Are you scouring the internet for how to get more website traffic, SEO for dummies, and how to market on Pinterest? Have you tried to grow your business with SEO and blogging only to get frustrated and quit because it's overwhelming and too time consuming? Been there. Hey, I'm Faith Hannon, Jesus lover, copywriter, blogger, wife, wrangler of tiny humans, and barrel racer. And let me tell you, I didn't have time to waste sorting through SEO and keyword strategies that either didn't work or were so over my head I couldn't understand them. I honestly thought that SEO and blogging only worked for people with a PhD in tech jargon and a whole team of employees, until I learned these secrets. Good SEO strategies don't have to be complicated, and creating and marketing great content doesn't have to take more than a couple hours a week total. So pop in those earbuds, slam some coffee, and let's grow your business with simple organic marketing and a healthy dose of biblical encouragement along the way. Okay, first of all, y'all, I just have to tell you how excited I am that this podcast is growing, y'all. The reach is growing. We're almost crossing 4,000 downloads, which if you're not in the podcast world, that may not seem like a significant number, or to me it is. 5,000 downloads. Skeet, Faith. We blew through 4,000 downloads and we're fixing to cross 5,000 downloads, which was a goal of mine, but it was like I was hoping to reach that by Christmas, and y'all were fixing to cross that. So thank you for sharing this podcast. If you would take a quick second, if you've benefited from this podcast in any way, if you would take a quick second and go leave a written review and a preferably 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and then just share it with one friend who has a business or has a website, that would help so much, because the whole mission of this podcast is to help Christian entrepreneurs get in front of their people. I've met so many of y'all that just have an amazing business and an amazing heart to serve your people, serve your community, and use your gifts to glorify God and serve others. That is truly my honor and my pleasure and my great joy to take what I know and put this podcast out there for you so that you can make just tactical, practical steps to generate more leads and scale your business using SEO and blogging and keywords. So please go take a second and do that. But now we're going to jump right on into what I have for y'all today. So I was sitting and thinking okay, what do I wish that I would have done differently in growing my business? And let's just be honest, the list is too long for one podcast. But if I had to sit with you across the table right now, we were having coffee, just picture that. Yummy coffee. And you're like, Faith, I just really want to start generating leads organically. Like, I want my website to start doing its dang job. What do I need to do? Where do I need to start? SEO is really overwhelming. Here are the two things that I would tell you to do. And the first one is kind of a little baby thing, so it's really not even that huge of a deal. All right, the first thing that I would have you do is just to make sure that your Google Analytics and Search Console are set up for your website. Now, you probably already have this done. So if you have that done already, check, move on with your life. But if you don't, I want to walk you through that just a little bit. Obviously I can't walk you through it on a podcast because I can't show you my screen, but you know what I mean. I want you, if you don't have Google Analytics set up yet, go ahead and set up Google Analytics 4, because Google is phasing out of their old analytics, aka Universal Analytics, in July of 2023. Now, if you're if you have the deer in the headlights look right now or feeling, please download the SEO cheat sheet checklist that I put together for myself and for you. It's completely free. The link is in the podcast or in the show notes, and I'm going to keep it updated. So it's a spreadsheet that I'm going to keep updated so that as I learn more, as I have better understanding, because I'm always learning more, y'all are going to get that same new information or updated information. Okay. So go grab that if you haven't already. But back to Google Analytics. If you don't already have Google Analytics 4 or GA4 set up, then you won't already have data to look back at when they phase out of Universal Analytics in July. So I'll be completely honest. The first few times that I set up Google Analytics, I wanted to cry. It was just so frustrating. So just like, I don't want to say nuanced, but it's like, it just wasn't very straightforward, right? They have improved that process. I spent hours and hours and hours setting something up for a client this last summer and wanted to like punch something. It was so frustrating. And so I held off doing that for my own website and my own business because it was so frustrating to do for this client, not because of the client, but because of Google. And they've streamlined it. It's much simpler now. I don't know why I wanted to cry and punch things this summer, but I did. It's much simpler now. I finally just did it for myself like last week, and it took a grand total of 10 seconds. So yay for that being easier. But if you don't already have analytics set up at all on your website, if it's like, what in the heck, Faith, and it's not set up, then you're not going to be able to track if what you're doing is working. And if you don't already have Google Analytics set up, you need to find a tutorial that is specific for your website platform. Now, I know that sounds kind of dumb, but there's just different nuances to different platforms. So like Squarespace versus Showit versus WordPress versus Wix, like there's just going to be little bitty differences. So if your website platform like Showit or Wix or Squarespace doesn't have tutorials on how to set up Google Analytics, just go to YouTube and find one that's specific for your platform, because it'll make everything so much easier to see it exactly how you're going to see it on your screen. And the other part of this step, the very important part of this step is that you need to set up Google Search Console. You need to just turn it on. And it is the dumbest thing ever, like D-U-M, dumb. Don't worry, Mom. I know that's not how you spell dumb. It is so dumb that this is a separate step. So dumb, because obviously if somebody has Google Analytics set up, they want to know what is bringing traffic to their website. But Google doesn't ask me how to live their lives, unfortunately. So you have to set up Search Console separately, okay? Make sure that you do that, or that it's already done, because Search Console is going to help you track what keywords people are typing in when they come to your website, okay? So that is step one of the two things I would have you do, is get Google Analytics and Search Console set up and turned on. Boom. Done, okay? Now, step number 2. This is what I would have you do. If we were sitting across the table talking and you're really wanting to get leads from your website, get organic traffic, I would have you figure out your keywords. Now, if you're like, oh my gosh, Faith, I'm so tired of hearing you talk about keywords. Well, I'm sorry. Keywords are muy importante, okay? Now, if you haven't listened to episode 20 about 10 secrets that I wish I had learned sooner, aka the really dumb things that Faith did that I don't want you to have to do, if you haven't listened to that, please go listen to that. And if you haven't already listened to episode number 13, where I talk about how to do keyword research, and I walk you through that using Ubersuggest, please listen to that at some point today. But you have to figure out your keywords, because if you have the wrong keywords, or you're trying to get found for the wrong keywords that are completely unattainable either completely unattainable or way too small for your business, then you're wasting your time, right? So for you to effectively get organic traffic, for you to effectively generate leads from your website, you need to be going for the right keywords. Now, obviously, if you're just like, Faith, fix it, Jesus kind of mentality, I don't want to do this, book a coaching call. You and I will sit down and we'll hash out your keywords. We will dig in deep. I will do keyword research with you, and we will figure out your cotton picking keywords, okay? If that is what you want to do, do it. Get the link in the show notes and book that call. Spots are limited. However, if you are like Faith, I have exactly $0 to spend in the whole wide world. I can't buy Uber Suggest. I can't buy anything. I'm going to walk you through a few tips, brief overview on how to do your own keyword research for free. Free 99, okay? Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to bust out a whiteboard if you have it. If you're like me and you're a visual person, you need to get a whiteboard out. The bigger, the better, okay? If you don't have a whiteboard, I need you to get something to write on, like a physical thing to write on, and or a brand new Google Doc, brand new Google spreadsheet, okay? That's what I want you to do. And then I'm going to walk you through how we're going to start figuring out your keywords for free, okay? Hey friend, I know you're trying to grow this business, but does it feel like it's not really going anywhere? Did you know that we can actually fix the back end of your business so that you have some great SEO? Did you know that we can repurpose your podcast, repurpose your blog, and help you grow faster? Did you know that was even an option? If you're thinking, oh my goodness, Faith, that would be amazing, then head on over to faithhannon.com/coaching or click the link in the show notes. In just 1 hour of your time, we'll get you a marketing plan in a box with the exact keywords that you need to be going for, how and where to implement them, and at least 3 months of SEO-focused content planned out for you. Let's get your coaching call on the books right now and get your marketing strategy headed in the right direction. Spots are limited, so don't wait. And I cannot wait to help you finally get the breakthrough you've been waiting for and jumpstart your business dream back to life. Okay, so you have your whiteboard, preferably, right? Or your brand spanking new Google Doc, or if you're like me and you just have to write things down physically, you have a shiny new piece of paper. And here's what we're going to do. We are going to start from the top down of keywords that your person might be searching for that would ultimately lead them to you on the World Wide Web. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to let the ideas flow freely. Like, no judgment. Don't judge your ideas, okay? I want you to dream up things that you want to get found for that you know are probably way too big. I want those on the list. I want things that are like super, super granular on the list as well, okay? And here's kind of the buckets that I want you to be thinking. You don't even need to categorize them yet, okay? I want you to be thinking about the big problems that you solve. I want you to think about who your person is, like how they would identify. Are they a stay-at-home mom, work-at-home mom, corporate woman? Are they, like that kind of identify. Okay, and then I want you to think about the next bucket is also a P. Look at me in my alliteration. Is the process. So I want you to think in 3 big buckets, all right? The problems you solve, the person you serve, and the process that you walk them through. And then the 4th bucket, I forgot about, but now I remembered, is the promise, like the promise of what you are delivering, okay? If you teach decluttering methods, the promise would be live in a clutter-free home, okay? If you're a photographer teaching other photographers how to start a business, the promise would be to have a profitable photography business, okay? If you are, if you give horse riding lessons to people who have never ridden horses before, your promise would be learn how to ride a horse and enjoy horses or whatever. So start from the top down. Think big overarching problem you solve, the person, the process, the promise, okay? And then I want you to get nitty gritty in all of those things, okay? So like my photographer example, if somebody is coming, you want them to come to you, you want them to find you for learning how to have a profitable photography business, great. What are some of the little bitty steps, the little bitty problems that you're going to solve for them along the way? Like learning aperture, learning, shutter speed and ISO and, all of the settings that they're going to need on their camera, learning how to choose the right camera for them, learning when to upgrade their lens, learning when to, upgrade their prices, learning how to build a portfolio, learning, which clients are the best fit for them, learning if they want to be a generalist or a specific photographer. All of those things are going to be like nitty-gritty questions that people are asking. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to write it all down, all of it. Do not leave anything unwritten, okay? Like that stupid song, The Rest is Still Unwritten. We're not leaving anything unwritten here. We're writing everything down because we're going to take this and this is going to be the base for your actual keyword research. Now, I don't want you to judge your ideas. I don't want you to like scratch things off the list and be like, oh, this is crap. I don't want to do it. Leave it on there. We're going to judge ideas later, okay? I don't want you feeling like you have to create 843,000 pieces of content to match up this list. No, we're going to judge ideas later. But right now, this is like the brain dump of this process. All right, now, the next thing that I want you to take into consideration when you're doing this is this. I want you to think in terms of what people say and then what you think they search. Because sometimes what people say and the words that they're like, oh, yeah, that resonate with them, and what they actually type in the search engine are different, okay? You don't need to actually do anything with that right now. Just have that in the back of your mind that sometimes what somebody says and what their cute little fingers type are different, okay? Now, because we're going to do the free 99 version of this, you're going to have to do more legwork on your end, okay? If you've been around here, you know that I am a huge proponent of Ubersuggest. I love it. I think it's well worth the dollars, especially if you want to continue to use SEO and keywords, to help drive traffic in your business. I think it's well worth the money to spend I think it's $250. I think it's well worth it. But if you're like, Faith, I ain't got no dollars, we're going to do the free 99 version and I'm going to help you with this. So the next step is this. You're going to take that list of awesome ideas and you're going to put it on a spreadsheet if you haven't already. And before you're like, Faith, why didn't you just tell me to put it on a dang spreadsheet to start with? Well, because I have found that when you have to use your fingers and arms to write instead of just sit there and type, your brain is more creative. And I started doing that myself when I read a book by Austin Kleon called Still Like an Artist. And he talked about how, just doing things in a non-digital way makes the brain work a little bit differently and stimulates creativity. And I've seen a ton of benefits of doing it like this myself. And so I'm just going to give you that little hack, but I had to give it to you like before so that you wouldn't do it, like not do it because you're like, I just want to do a spreadsheet. Anyway, I hope you did it on your whiteboard or a notebook. Now take all of that, put it on a spreadsheet, because what we are going to do is we're going to go through and track the search volume for each of those ideas that you have. Now, I want you to go to Google and I want you to use Chrome. Now, I don't usually use Chrome. I don't usually use Google. I like DuckDuckGo and Safari, just a personal preference. But for this purpose, Google and Chrome works better. I want you to download the Ubersuggest plugin if you haven't already. Now, it's free 99. It's not as good. Like, you're not going to get as much information as you would if you bought Ubersuggest as a whole, obviously. But the Ubersuggest plugin is going to be super, super helpful here, because what it's going to help you see is the search volume, and it's going to give you extra ideas. Not as many as it would give you if you had the actual Ubersuggest platform. Obviously, I think that is worth the money, but if you're on the free 99 plan, the Ubersuggest plugin is hugely helpful for you. So now you've got your spreadsheet of all your terms, right, that you brainstormed. You've got them all, your spreadsheet on there. Now you've got Google open on Chrome and you have the Ubersuggest plugin installed. So now what I want you to do is I want you to go into the search bar on Google and start typing those terms. Now, the Ubersuggest plugin on my computer, I have show volume. So I'm just going to run through a couple of keyword ideas with you here. So because I have a bunch of pals who are photographers, we're going to take that route. I'm just going to search photography business. Photography business. Okay, so what pulls up on your screen using Google and the Ubersuggest plugin, you're going to have obviously the search results, the search engine results page, SERP, on the left hand, like the majority of your screen, right? Right now, the first thing that pulls up is an ad for insurance for photographers. And then there's a how to start a photography business by Business News Daily. How to start a photography business in 4 steps by Forbes. Start a photography business from photomba.net. Okay, then you've got local businesses listings in my screen, and then bplans.com. How to start a photography business, Bplans blog. How to start a photography business from NerdWallet. How to start a photography business, 6 helpful steps by Uberlo. I don't know how to say that. And then Photography Concentrate, which looking at those, I would say that the most of these businesses, just looking at the URLs, are like huge businesses, other than the photographyconcentrate.com. That's probably the first like smaller business, like not huge, like Forbes, that's ranking. Okay. So I want you to just kind of glance through that. Okay. And if it's a keyword phrase that only giant businesses are showing up for, probably not one that you want to go for right now, especially if you're just getting started. Now, kind of over on the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to see the Ubersuggest plugin results. So what it does is it shows you now keywords and then other suggestions that you could go for with the volume. Now, up in the search bar, I know I'm kind of bouncing you around here, but up in the search bar on my screen, there's a little button to click to show volume. I'm going to click show volume. Okay. Now, it's showing me that the monthly searches for that term are 2,400 searches per month. The cost per click, CPC is $7.18. That means that people are spending a crap ton of money on ads to get their stuff seen for this keyword. Okay. Now, quick little tip here. Don't make the same mistake that I made using Google to do keyword research. So there's a number at the top of the search results, kind of grayed out, that says about, and then it says 2,640,000 results. What that means, that is not how many times this is being searched. That's how many pieces of content have been created using that key phrase. Just let me tell you how many times Faith got that wrong, okay? So just know that metric, that 2 billion metric, is not one that you're looking for like, oh my gosh, 2 billion people are searching this. No. 2,400 people are searching this keyword a month, okay? So I want you to be able to distinguish the difference. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take that photography business, if that's one of your keywords, and you're going to put the monthly searches next to that in your spreadsheet, okay? And then you're going to go on. Now, if you want to get fancy, you can go ahead and look through the Ubersuggest keyword suggestions and look through them and say, oh, yeah, that's applicable to me, that's applicable, and add them to your spreadsheet. Now, if it's like photography business cards and you don't create business cards, like don't put that as one of your keywords you're going for, right? If it's name photography business, well, that's kind of weird. I don't know how to go for that one. Names of photography business, that's weird. So use your brain about this, right? Like don't try to go for keywords that don't make any sense for your business or don't make any sense for the content that you want to create for your business, okay? So after you get all the keywords you can possibly think of on your spreadsheet, I want you to then further categorize them as like your big hefe keywords, your fatty keywords with like 5,000 to 10,000 is generally a decent range. And those are the keywords that I call them your umbrella keywords. They're like the pie in the sky. I would love to be found for this keyword, but you're going to integrate some of those on your page titles and then just kind of keep them in the back of your mind as you're creating content. And then your medium range keywords, depending on how big your business is, depending on how big a content machine you have, sometimes the more medium range keywords like the 2,000 to the 5,000 are better for your page titles if you're a smaller business and you don't have a huge team with you. But I just want you to categorize them generally as like 5 to 10,000 searches per month, 3 to 5,000 searches per month, and then 3,000 to down to on like 150 searches per month. And then you're going to take that 150 searches per month range and you're going to create blogs around that. You're going to take the 3,000 to 100 or the 1,500 to 300 range, and you're going to, integrate that into your headings, and you're going to create, maybe a little beefier blogs around that. There's a whole strategy behind this. There's a whole strategy behind which keywords you should go for that, I'll be honest, I don't have time to walk you through today. But just know that if you're a little bitty baby business and you're just starting out, you're absolutely not going to get found for keywords that have 20,000 searches a month, okay? Unless you have a huge team behind you that's creating content like it's nobody's business. If you are a bigger business and you have a huge team behind you and you're just looking to really optimize your keywords and your SEO strategy, and you have people to create a ton of blogs for you or revamp a ton of blogs, then great. Let's go for like one of those 10,000 per month search keyword phrases, okay? But as you go through this, as you go through your spreadsheet, I think you will be very surprised at what people are searching versus what they're not searching, especially if you're like me and you're like, oh, I know what people are searching, and then you don't. Every time I do keyword research with a client, I'm always surprised at the things that people are searching and what they're not searching. So that's all I have for you today. Next podcast episode, I'm going to walk you through what to do now. Like, you've got your keywords figured out. Now what? Next podcast episode I'm dropping is about that. So stay tuned. Make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss a podcast episode, so that it pops up in your iTunes like as soon as it drops, and you'll know and you won't miss any of this stuff to help you start getting more leads organically from your website using SEO, keywords, and blogging. So y'all be blessed. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm so, so thankful for y'all. And I will be back at you Friday. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening in today. Hopefully this episode gave you some really tangible tips for better SEO and marketing to get more leads and more sales from your website. If it did, can I ask you a quick favor? Would you please share this episode with a friend, and then just take 10 seconds and go leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. That is the very best way to help more Jesus-loving entrepreneurs scale their businesses so that they can help more people with their gifts and make an even bigger impact for the kingdom of God. And guess what? We now have a Facebook community where we can learn, hang out, and laugh. Go join the Facebook group now. It's linked in the show notes. And all the other things, courses, coaching, and copywriting, can be found at my website, faithhannon.com. Until next time, God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.